My name is Natalie, and I've been at Occupy Chicago since day one, and I was here last weekend when there was the mass arrest, and the movement has grown so much in the last 3 odd weeks, and it was amazing to be caught up in just this movement of dedicated humans. We took the streets, the police gave us the streets, and we walked, we chanted, the cars were stopped looking at us as we marched down to Michigan in Congress. And under the guise of this gigantic public meeting with about 2,000 people, we ran around and put up tents to the backdrop of the horse. And that was our home. I was so excited, I was so moved to be standing there with these people that I've been working towards building a better society with for the last 27 days. And when the police gave their first warning that we were to leave, I stood up and I was like, I'm not going. And this is my home, this is my right. I'm going to make this world better. And they gave us the second warning. And I went and I stood with my friends who I've known only for this short amount of time, who I've bonded about philosophy, about ideology, about empowerment. And then they gave the third warning. And then we said, we're not going. We're going to stand by our tents, and no one's going to take us away. And a group of us formed a human circle around Tent City. And we stood in the middle, and we sang, and we chanted. My favorite chant, the one that actually brought tears to my eyes, was, we are unstoppable, a better world is possible. And tears streaming down my face, like locked arm in arm with 5 of my friends, Lenny, Sugar, Andy, Vince. We stood and we chanted solidarity. Then the police came around and they arrested the circle, the human chain. Or they offered them the ability to leave with no charges being pressed. Some of us chose to stay, of course, and the 5 of us locked arms and we stood in a circle, and we talked about how much this movement meant to us, about how all of the connections we have made us better people, have empowered us to seek out a better life. For not only ourselves, but children, humans in general, the entire societal structure. And I stood there while they took away 3 squadrons full, and we had to wait for the squadrons to come back for more arrests to continue. And I was speaking to the line of cops that were kind of keeping an eye on the nonviolent protesters. And we were just sort of BSing, just creating common ground. And one of the officers said, you've made your point. You can go home now. You don't have to be processed. You don't have to be taken to jail. Jail is a dark, scary place. You don't want to go. And I said I wouldn't be being true to myself and my friends if I left now. I'm committed to this movement. I'm committed to building a better world. And then the squadrons came back. The police officer walked up and he put his arm on my shoulder and he said, you have the option to leave. If you choose to stay, you will be arrested. And I said, I choose to stay. They zip-tied me. They put my hands behind my back. They took my license, and they loaded me up in a squadron with 24 other people. And they took us off to 17th and State, where we were unloaded. Our zip ties were cut off. We stood around looking at each other. And all big smiles, all just very proud of ourselves for taking the stand. And then 2 more squadrons came in, and they let the men out after about 20 minutes, which was interesting. And then we all sang 99 bottles of beer on the wall. They had started, and we're at 27 when they were let out of the squadron. We sang all the way down to 0, smiling, laughing, dancing. And then they loaded us up, put us in, the women in a small room, and we all sat around and told our stories of how we came to Occupy Chicago, our visions for a better world. And by the time that I left, about 3.5 hours later, I had made 25 new friends, created 25 more bonds into building this society into something else that we want. And I will be here tonight, tomorrow. I will not be one of the ones getting arrested, but I will absolutely be jail support and solidarity support for the people that, if they choose to. All we want is a home and a better society.
Well, thank you for telling us your story. I just want to clarify, actually just amplify on a couple of things that you've told us. First, you were offered at many points along the way to walk away.
Yes, that is accurate.
So you were able to leave up till the point that they actually put you in a squadron.
Yes, that's up until they zip tied me. By the time I was presented with my entrance into the squadron, I was already zip tied. I had already made my decision.
Mm-hmm. And this process, what I'm hearing from you, actually galvanized your spirit.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've never been more dedicated to a cause. I've never been arrested for civil disobedience, for violating a municipal code before, and I really wish I hadn't blown my arrest so I could be arrested tomorrow. But as soon as my court date clears, as soon as I pay my fine or my case is dismissed, I will absolutely be putting my freedom and my body on the line one more time, as many times as possible, to send a message that the ways society is being run will not stand.
Tell me a little bit about your plans for jailhouse support.
Well, I was on the inside of jailhouse support. I was the one being supported. But when I was let out at around 6:15 in the morning, I walked out to cheers, to hugs, to warm coffee and food, and rounds of congratulations from my friends that were outside waiting for us.
So that's one way that other people can support the Occupy movement when the civil disobedience comes around, to actually show up at 3 in the morning.
Yes, absolutely. It's just stand outside of the police station and just rounds of applause for the people that stood up for everyone's rights. And that's exactly my role. That's what I will be doing if we are arrested for civil disobedience on Saturday.
And let's return one more time to the bonds that you made inside the custody room with the people that you were waiting to be processed out with.
Yes. We all were sitting or standing on these concrete benches, and we talked about what brought us to Occupy Chicago. We talked about the tragedies or the things that had happened that made us seek out a better life. And it was amazing hearing everyone's stories. They ranged from, like, I'm a 17-year-old student who found her way here, to I have been trying so hard to keep my house. I am a lawyer. I've been fighting Bank of America for this amount of time, to I just want a better life. It was amazing.
Well, there's something about having the door locked by somebody else that makes you introspective.
Absolutely, and we didn't even need to. Like, they told us that we would be processed soon, and we were just like, well, we're all in here together. Let's get to know each other.
Well, that's great, and again, it galvanized your spirit and made you a stronger revolutionary.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so very much for telling us your story. We're going to get this out very soon.
Thank you.